the Trevor Jackson Podcast.
Because I am morally competent. But on this podcast, we're going to talk about the morally incompetent. Now, let's get into this tweet that Nas put up on his Twitter the other day, responding. I usually would play the response at the end, but I'm going to play the response at the beginning. Nas was responding to a conversation that Slim Thug had on Willie D's platform. Let's get straight to it, man. Let me read it to y'all. This is why stupid people can't be allowed to lead. This dumb MFer thinks that the Asian nail lady magically had money to start a business in a black neighborhood. She most likely got the money from the U.S. government under the minority label, like all foreigners do. You know, I normally don't hear Nas speaking like this. You know, and that's the blue check beside his name. That's the real Nas. He said, this is why you don't allow stupid people to lead. And the nail lady just magically had the money to start a business in a black neighborhood. She most likely got the money from the U.S. government under the minority label like all foreigners do. What's interesting about that is that we pay taxes to the government as FBAs, as black people, as African Americans, as ADOS, whatever you want to identify as. The people, the American descendants of slavery, the foundational black Americans. We pay taxes to that U.S. government for them to give immigrants and migrants opportunities that they never gave us. Now, I'm going to play this clip of this topic that Slim Thug brought up because it's very interesting to hear him speak like this, because since COVID, probably before COVID, but during COVID, that's when I became aware of all of these things that people been trying to obtain, people been trying to do. I became aware of the California Black Caucus and all types of things. And I just been aware. I don't talk about it that much on the podcast. But if you know me personally, and if the conversation comes up during a podcast or somebody interviews me and asks me, I will break down my thoughts and all of this about reparations. But Slim Thug had this to say.
I'm on another level of, like, you can't question my blackness as a black man ever, because I'm actually black owned out here. I'm one of the very few rap rappers who is not owned by a white man, by a Jewish man. I don't even know no other rappers who got on their whole catalog like Slim Thug. So to ever question my blackness when I have the integrity enough to not even let a white man own my music, and it's people buying masters and selling masters every day, like it's none. I'm none affected by that. You know what I'm saying? I stand on too much business when it comes to that.
Are you speaking to the comments where you made when you was talking about black people need to move on and stop blaming white folks?
Maybe. I don't. And now that's not what I was talking about. But that they took that clickbait out of that. You need to stop blaming white folks. Yeah, it ain't about, oh man, white people ain't never did nothing to you or nothing like that. It's the mindset. It's the mindset of waiting for somebody to give you something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they wrong. Yeah, they did all that. But why are you waiting on your enemy to give you something? Why are we asking for reparations in 2025 when people came from all over Earth to America and been successful? Even in your neighborhood, the nail lady, the corner store ain't owned by you. You know what I'm saying? But we waiting on somebody to hand us some 90% of the time. And that's why we sit back and in last place when they say which race got the most. Is because instead of taking advantage of right now and just saying, man, without whatever I ain't have, I'm finna make it happen right now. Without nobody giving me nothing, I don't want nothing from nobody. I only want to stand on my feet as a man and go conquer this earth and whatever and leave my legacy behind. You know.
To be clear, you don't want reparations.
I don't want no reparations from nobody.
Now, let me stop.
You know, Nas called him stupid. I'm not going to disrespect the brother, but salute to Nas, because that's my favorite wordsmith. Salute to Nas. I'm not going to disrespect him. But, you know, that I'm kind of passionate about this because, like, after you hear me say this, go rewind back that clip and listen to the amount of times he said I, my, and mine. The reason I'm telling you to do that, that's a key word. because he's speaking as an individual to a plethora of people. Now, why that's important is because you have to be careful when you talking to people who have the I and me and my mentality. After you listen to this episode and you hear me speak like this, next time you have a conversation with anybody, listen to how many times they say I, me, and my. If they doing that in your presence, that means that they're excluding you. They're excluding people. They're excluding, they talking specifically about themselves. What's wrong with that? He's talking about an entire race. An entire race. Now, he thinks that you have to have integrity to own your music solely, and you ain't sold out because you haven't sold your masters. You know, nigga, your music ain't even valuable enough. Everybody have $1. To be honest with you, it doesn't take integrity to own your masters. Your masters ain't worth shit, nigga. A couple of them songs might still be spinning, still tipping on 4/4s, but that ain't even your song. That's the one with, you know what I'm saying, Mike Jones and Paul Wall. That's them together. That's y'all as a collective. When you was your most successful, it's because you was a part of a collective. It wasn't no I, me, and my. Now, in all aspects, when we unify, that's when we're all most successful. To be honest with you, I know I'm doing this podcast by myself and I'm talking on this microphone by myself. But when we click up, we don't have no agenda. That's when we are most successful. Now, what Nas was talking about and what I'm going to play Willie D's response to that, what everybody else is, concerned about. And some of the things that he said, I kind of agree with. Because when he talked about waiting on the enemy to give you something, right? I don't consider white people enemies. I grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee. I love a few white people wholeheartedly. A lot of white people did me some justice, had my back, loved me and showed me love. Nothing but love. And some of my own people did the opposite, but I'm not saying the majority did. I'm saying my people did good, but some of my people did the opposite to me. Now, I've been talking a lot about reparations. I've been talking a lot about a lot of Black history topics on my channel, especially during February, and I'm still going to continue on. We've highlighted a lot of Black leaders and a lot of Black intellectuals and a lot of Black educated people. This is a hip hop platform, but I highlight my people and I highlight us. Now, also on my channel, because we're talking about right now the enemy giving you something. The U.S. government and the white supremacists obtained their power through violence and fear. If you new to this channel and it's your first time hearing me talk like this, the people that's been subscribed to this channel and heard it a plethora of times. They've obtained their power through violence and fear. So, expecting them to give you something is far-fetched. I don't expect reparations to happen, but it's deserved and I do want it. Now, the disrespectful part that Nas was responding to in this clip that I'm about to play of Willie D reacting to it is that other people come here and be successful. How do they do that? When they getting grants and loans and they figuring out about opportunities where they can own the bodega, they can own the supermarkets in the Black community, and we help them thrive and evolve and elevate. They come here and get those opportunities that we are paying for, working at these companies that we don't own through our tax dollars, and we pay for it. We pay for these wars and everything. So, you can't speak down on a group of people because they're not successful. And all you talking about in your conversation is I, my, and me.
Right. I want reparations, and here's why.
Okay.
it ain't even necessarily for me. It's for my ancestors, because that is a debt owed. They died. They worked. They were treated like the worst that you can even imagine that somebody could ever be treated. And it didn't end with slavery. It moved on into the Jim Crow era, and it's still going on right to this day. So reparations would absolutely give black people some get back and some seeds to plant. Like right now, a lot of us, we don't have seeds. A lot of these people, everybody else had seeds, including white people. When immigrants come here, they have seeds used and that are provided to them from our government by way of our tax dollars.
Facts.
They will take our shit and give it to them and allow them to come up, but at the same time try to subjugate us. So those reparations ain't just for me, it's for my ancestors. I got it. I could say I don't necessarily need it, but I do know a whole lot of black people that could use them damn reparations to get on their feet.
100% agree with everything you're saying.
And so we need those reparations, because it's a debt owed. It's almost like what if
I totally
you
agree
gave
with
somebody some money? What if you gave?
But look,
hold on. What if you gave somebody some money? Let's say it's a substantial amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
You gave somebody, let's say, $100,000.
Right.
You passed on. Your sons know this motherfucker borrowed 100 racks from my dad and ain't paid it back yet.
Right.
They not supposed to go get that money?
Salute to Willie D, man. Also, salute to Slim Thug. Salute to Nas also, man, because those conversations need to be have in our community, because a lot of people don't think outside the box. They don't think deeper, or they might not know the history in our reality. And you might have to help a brother understand, because you heard that Slim Thug start saying, right, let me speak. You right, dog. It's just that it's kind of blasphemous when our government gives black people. I don't think black people should pay taxes, especially if you are a descendant of slavery, and if you can prove it. It's that I don't think we should pay taxes, man, because the decision that they're doing and making with the tax dollars, like funding the Ukraine war, giving them billions of dollars, they basically gave them reparations. The decisions that they're making by helping out migrants and immigrants create businesses with our tax dollars while we working for whatever we working for is blasphemous. And to be honest with you, slavery do still exist. And what I want to say about that, and why I know it exists, it's a different form of it. And I think after we're dead and gone 50 years down the road, it will be studied. What was worse, physical or mental slavery? Help me out in the comment section, because to be honest with you, I think that a multitude of individuals, and it's just not black people in America, is mentally enslaved. They're not free. It's people that's locked up that think freer than a free man. And also, according to the 13th Amendment, people are slaves. If you commit a crime, you are subjective to being a slave again, working for 25 cents in the jailhouse or whatever. What's the definition of it? Okay, the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, ratified in 1865. This is a amendment that still exists today, that was created in 1865. The world has totally changed and evolved. Abolished slavery and involuntary servitude, except, keyword, except as punishment for a crime. So if you commit a crime, you know the rest.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.